Good morning, everyone!
Good morning.
Here we are, another day. Having fun. What's new?
That cat's loud.
Loud cat, priority.
7 o'clock. Meow, but like here. Like he'll jump on you
Yeah.
and then get this close.
Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah, he keeps scaring me. Because I'm asleep and I just feel like that on my chest. It's quite heavy. He's a heavy cat.
But the funny thing is that's not him, because he has to get past, because I hear him as soon as he comes in, because he'll sit like right next to my side of the bed and meow at me. So I'm like, and so I invite him up onto the bed. So it's not him jumping from the floor onto you. I watch what he does, and he'll like rear himself up and do that.
Oh, little shitbag.
It's like he makes a point of going, wake up.
I know. Because I do like go, Jesus, what's that?
And I've watched him do it, or he'll do that.
Yeah, it's always
So
like
I do it with one paw.
It's always like on the collarbone. So it's like right in like near my neck. I think he might be trying to kill us.
Not me.
He's an assassin.
He wakes me up with a little like, hello, wake
Not
up.
for me. It gives me a slam dunk to the face. Well, oh well. I feel like we should talk about Soho last night. For people who don't know, there was like videos last night released of like Soho. Because yesterday was the first day that the pubs and clubs and all that sort of stuff were officially open again. So naturally everyone went, and we all sort of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think people expected Soho to look like that. So basically, like Soho's like the really busy part of like the theatre district, and also in London, it's really like busy for like people to go out and get drunk, basically. And there's a massive street called Old Compton Street where like Mary Poppins is, and it's like just behind Les Mis. So it's like in the heart of like Soho and like the sort of theatre district, and it was packed. It was so busy. It looked like any other Saturday night. It was so busy. It's just a bit of a kick in the face. And also, it was a massive kick in the face for people whose like theatres they were and who's lost their jobs.
It's literally like boarded up Prince Edward's, and it's closed because everyone's saying, oh, you can't maintain social distancing in a theatre. You'll have to have people sat far away, like 4 or 5 seats away from each other. And then what are you going to do about the shows when, you know, there's like kissing scenes or people being close on stage? Oh no, you can't reopen theatres because you can't maintain social distancing. And then outside, literally on the street, is like a massive street party because the pubs are open. No social distancing, everyone getting pissed. It is just a massive slap in the face.
Yeah. So that's annoying for us, for a lot of people really, but especially for the theatre people, when you can see like your work there, and the reason you're not allowed in to do your job and get paid is because of social distancing and how it won't work. And then you've got like 1,000 people outside the front door of your work celebrating and getting drunk and like hugging.
Because that's been allowed by the government.
Yeah, because of the government.
Like it'd be different if everyone just decided of their own accord to go and do it, because then the rules would still be in place that, you know, the government wouldn't be giving one rule for one and one rule for another. It would just be people's free will. But this literally is the government saying, okay, well then let's open the pubs and fingers crossed everyone maintains social distancing, knowing full well that people won't. Exactly. Because even when social distancing was in place full force, people were still going to parks and beaches and meeting up with mates and not social distancing.
Yeah.
But they are literally going, okay, well then let's open pubs and fingers crossed it all works out. But theatres,
that was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. Like, people were going to, if you take away something like a pub or like a club or whatever, like alcohol, there's no way that people are going to be like really smart and go, no, stay away mate, I've had 10 pints but you need to be a metre away from me. After a couple of drinks, all that would have gone out the window. And that's what happened last night. Like, there was hundreds, if not like thousands of people in the street in London, like rubbing shoulders, getting drunk, and probably like hugging strangers and stuff. It's just like, it's so annoying. It is so annoying.
Such a slap in the
I just
face.
hope that it doesn't spike from like in a couple of more weeks or whatever, or we don't have a second wave. That's the only thing, because then it would be so annoying, because then our like goal to getting back to theatre will be even longer.
You've stopped even more people going back to work because you fancied a drink with your mates.
Yeah, crazy. Right, anyway, less of that, more of this. So this question, this email, again, thanks for the emails, guys, flooding in. Great, lovely. This email we sort of touched on the other day about payment, about contract payment and stuff. How much do you get paid? People love to know, but it's really hard because it's the scale and the sort of area, the scope is so big. It's really hard.
Edgar.
So there was this email from someone called Lisa, and someone also emailed called Martina, who is from Austria, and they sort of asked the same sort of thing as well about contracts. People want to know about contracts. Like Martina sort of said, what happens if you get one contract through, like you get a job, but you're in the finals for another? Like what happens there? How long can you wait? La 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 la. So I thought we'll touch on that, but also Lisa, they said, like, went into a bit more detail, like what can you sort of get out of a contract, what are you looking for? Dressing rooms, like is this something you can negotiate? So, we'll start from the beginning. We'll do the dilemma first. So the dilemma is, you've just been offered a job, but you're in the finals for a job that you might get.
Yeah.
Like how long can you keep them like on tender hooks, you know what I mean? Like how long can you sort of keep them on the back burner? Personally, I think you can't keep them on that long.
No, but also I will just mention, this is where your agent comes in.
Yeah.
This is where you will thank the heavens for the fact that you have an agent, because it won't be you having those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
You will never have to speak to a casting director or a director or a producer and be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm actually like in the finals for this, like thank you so much for the offer, but I'm in the finals for this other job and I prefer to do, you know what I mean? Like you will never have to do that, you will never have to have those conversations. That is what your agent, that's what the agent takes commission for, to have those conversations on your behalf. So those conversations will never come from you if you have an agent.
So basically, when you get offered the job, like the next stage of like, you know, hey, we want this person, we want Carrie to be in this show, playing this part. That's like the offer, as in the initial offer. And then from there, it's all about the wage, the benefits or whatever, the things that you want for that year contract. So you don't officially accept until they're all done. So maybe that's a way that your agent can buy time.
By taking a while
negotiating and going, maybe this much. And if you've had that conversation with your agent saying, I'm in the finals for this and I really want this.
Yeah, which your agent will already know.
Yeah, they'll know, obviously, because they're sending you up for it and they'll have it on your file and stuff.
Yeah.
However, like, once those offers go out, once a producer or a casting director contacts your agent and says, hey, we want Carrie to be in this role, in this part, in this show, they want you to accept pretty quickly.
Yeah.
For their peace of mind, because they can go, because that's the thing, people get offered jobs and turn it down. The casting director's job is not finished as soon as they call up and go, we want to offer Oliver this role of whoever.
Yeah.
I might not accept. And I'm guessing in the grand scheme of a cast, when a casting director gets a cast together, there's certain people, maybe in the ensemble or swings, you know, they might go, hey, we want you to be a swing in this production. That person might go, I don't want to be a swing, so I'm not going to accept. And then they've got to go into their like reserve people that also got yeses, but they're just there for the reserve, and then they get offered. So it is like a jigsaw. So as a casting director, I'm sure you want every person to accept as soon as possible.
Because sometimes you get put on hold.
Yeah.
Which means like you've done your final and it's like they're still trying to jigsaw everybody around. So it could be that they've already asked someone to play the part that you're on hold for, and that person comes back and says no, in which case then they'll come back to you and be like, hey, do you want the part? Which obviously makes it, you know, sound like your second choice, but that kind of just is the nature of the business. Sometimes you will be second choice because they couldn't get first choice. They'll never tell you that. No. They'll never tell you, oh yeah, we actually wanted so-and-so, but couldn't get her, so...
You're just on hold.
You're just told you're on hold.
It's like you're a substitute. That's how I imagine, like a sub bench.
Yeah.
Because like I said, some people don't accept jobs sometimes. It can be like, if I say, hey, this is a job, it's a really good part, but you're going to be touring the world for 4 years. Some people might love that and go, oh my God, yeah, 4 years, I get to travel. But some people might go, I've got kids, I can't just pack up my bags for 4
Yeah.
years. So yeah, there's
And
loads of
also,
reasons.
that it might be a job that you really, really want, but they're not paying you enough.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't afford to lose money on this job because I've got a mortgage to pay, or
Yeah.
I've got kids to
Yeah.
feed. Sometimes it might be a job that you're devastated that you have to say no to, but financially it just doesn't make sense to take it.
Yeah.
Like I've got a friend who was just offered a job that they really, really wanted, but they were offering peanuts.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I can't take
It
it.
doesn't make financial sense.
I can't take it
Yeah.
because I can't afford to lose that money.
Yeah. I think it normally works out that the first sort of job offer you get, I've sort of taken that. Because I've never been in that position, I don't think, where I've gone, can you hold them off because I'm in the finals for
Yeah.
this. I don't think I've ever been in that position. So I normally do just accept. Because if I've gone for a job, it's because I really want it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've sort of jumped that hurdle.
Yeah,
So by the time I get to the finals and if I get the offer, I'm like, yeah, well, I went through the rounds and tried my hardest.
Yeah.
And wanted it. You know, I did all that work
Yeah.
to get the offer, so yes, I will accept. And luckily, I've never done a job where the money's so crap, it outweighs the part, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I've done jobs where the money
part
isn't
outweighs
good,
the money.
but the part is so good. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to do that. So you can pay me peanuts, and I'll still do it because it's a really good part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation before where I've been offered a job and I've been auditioning for other things, and so I've had to be taken out of the running
Yeah.
for those things. I was auditioning for a show and I got offered Les Mis the concert, so I had to be taken out of the running. And Cinderella, I got offered Cinderella, and so I had to be taken out of the running for something else.
Yeah. I feel like I had it for Hairspray at the Coliseum.
Oh yeah.
I was going to go in for Corny Collins, I think. I don't think I did any rounds. No, I didn't
No.
do any rounds, but I was doing Back to the Future, so I was like, I want to do Back to the Future. And this was before Back to the Future started rehearsals.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to do Hairspray. I've done it before, and I really want to do Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Lisa said, like, how long do you have to accept? And like, it all depends really, because you can accept initially to your agent, and then your agent does all like negotiating.
Yeah. Sometimes the company will offer to your agent and say, we're offering Carrie Hope Fletcher this role, and your agent probably has already had like a conversation with you where they've said like, if they offer it, is this a part that you really, really
Yeah.
want? And so by the time your agent even speaks to you, they'll be like, so this was the initial offer, but we've done the negotiating and this is
Yeah.
what we've got it up to, or this is now what we're asking for. So they would have already had like a few back and forth conversations before they've even told you that
Yeah.
it's officially been offered.
Yeah, and it's so weird because they do like all the negotiating, and it's still not accepted.
Yeah, before you've even said like an official, yes, I want the part.
Yeah, because I'm thinking for me though, like I've had it like them come to me, my agent, and gone, hey, listen, you've been offered this part, or you've been offered like this show, and I've gone, yeah, great, I'd love to do that. They go, okay, well, I'll go away and see what I can do,
Yeah.
and they just disappear for like a couple of weeks, and they come back and go, right, I've worked out this, you can have this, you can have, this is your money, blah 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 blah. Is it okay that I go back and now accept? And then you're like, yeah, like, you know, I sort of said yeah 2 weeks ago.
I was going to accept the first offer, so
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah, so that's how it sort of works, and then they go back and then officially accept.
Yeah.
How long usually do you have to accept the offer? It depends really.
Yeah, it just varies.
That's sort of your agent.
I mean, obviously,
A couple of weeks, I'd say.
Obviously, the company that are offering you the part want you to accept as quickly as possible so that they can,
Yeah.
like, they might sort of be jigsawing other people around you, like, depending on who gets. So, say if you're like the lead role, they will then want to cast other people who match you, and they
Exactly.
might have a bunch of people who match you. But then, if you say no, they've got a bunch of other people who are casting the other roles who match the other person that they've got on hold.
It's so true. It is so true. It's a massive jig. I don't
Yeah.
know how casting directors do it. Must be so confusing. But yeah, they want you to accept straight away. I remember when I got my Cats call, and they were like, "Hey, listen, like, we want you to be Rotten Tugger. This was on a Thursday," and they're like, "Will you accept?" And I said to my agent, "Yeah." And then I sort of put the phone down, and he called back and said, "They want you to like sort of officially accept. So if I go back now and say, yeah, you're happy with everything, like the money and everything." Which, you know, they just wanted it confirmed like that day,
Yeah.
because they wanted to like move on with the casting process. So, but I was happy to do it. So I was like, yeah, cool. Okay, moving on. Can you, as an actor, negotiate anything in a contract once you've been offered a role? If so, what? So we sort of roughly talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just be really quick with
Yeah.
this. We'll talk about money first. So Ensemble and Swing, their basic wage will never change. You can't change that. However, if they're covering someone if they have a responsibility, like a dance captain fee or an assistant dance captain fee, or you're head of like the fight calls and stuff like that, fight director, whatever, you can get your agent to negotiate that. That's probably the end of negotiations for ensemble swing. You won't be like, can I have a car home? Because they'll be like, no, you can't, get the tube. They won't do that for ensemble swing. And then from then, so from your parts to your leads, it's all in the air. Like, it's all depending on what you want, how good your agent is, I guess. And that's, it is important. My old agent, when I got offered a job, I felt like he was always like, yeah, great. I never really, never really like negotiated. You know what I mean? So from then, money can go up and down from whoever, but there'll always be a wage structure. That's the only thing, though.
Yes, there might be someone who has it in their contract that no one else can be paid more than them because they're playing Jean Valjean or Elphaba or whoever. Like, they're playing a part who no one should be paid more than them because they are doing more than anybody else, or they'll have more pressure or more responsibility on their shoulders. Yeah,
so you can't be like, hey, I'm playing, I don't know, think of a good example, hey, I'm playing Honduras. Why am I not getting paid more than Valjean? Like, it doesn't work like that. Even if my agent was really good at negotiating, there's no way that he could get me above Valjean, and rightfully so.
And he wouldn't try.
No.
Because agents know what that structure is, and they understand like the logistics and the strategy of a cast and the hierarchy within parts.
And it's the same with cover fees as well. So if I'm covering Honduras, I might get £30 every time I go on. But if I'm covering Valjean, I might get 100 because it's a bigger part. And it's the same, like, I can't negotiate higher than Valjean. Do you know what I mean? If I'm covering Honduras, I can't be like, hey, I should be getting £100 a show, because then the production might be like, well, the cover Valjean's getting £100 a show, so you can't have £100 a show. Yeah, anyway, so that, money, really quickly, and then, so if you're playing a part or a lead, loads of other things come to it. It could be your dressing room, making sure you have your own dressing room. It could be transport home, which can be negotiated. It can be physios every week or every month, whatever. If you feel it's a really physical show, you could get the production company to hire a physio to come in every month, maybe, just to make sure you're all right.
Or even just if, like, they might tell you can book a physio appointment every month and then just hand in the receipt to your company manager, and then they'll like reimburse you. Yeah,
it could be a physical trainer. You can have that as well.
Vocal massage.
Vocal massage.
If it's like a particularly big sing.
Yeah, these are things that all get added on. It could be tickets. It could be something to do with tickets. You could have a ticket deal where you get X amount of tickets a month for your family and friends, or you get a percentage of the box office. So your wage might not be that big, but you might negotiate, hey, like, I know my client's not getting paid that much, I want X amount of the box office. Like, it can be so many things. And that's what happens when you play like the lead / other parts. They're like the main ones. I'm sure there's other things.
It might be that the lead has a dog and they're like, I want to be able to bring my dog into my dressing room.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a dog-friendly theatre, because I can't get anyone to look after the dog whilst I'm in the show. And so they get it put into their contract that the dog can come with them.
Yeah. So those are things you sort of negotiate. Who gets the best dressing room? The biggest role or the biggest star? Interesting. I think it all depends. Again, every company's different. I'm gonna say the biggest star normally gets it. I've had it that way.
Yeah, but I think it just depends on the production and how good people are negotiating and...
Yeah, because that's the thing as well. You never know what another actor has in their contract, really. You don't know what their agent's got for them.
No.
It might be part of the deal that they get the #1 dressing room. So the #1 dressing room is like the biggest. It's always like the best, normally. So you don't know. But yeah, it all depends. So dressing rooms, basically, they just get decided before the contract really starts, really. So say if you've got 10 dressing rooms, there's a lot of people in a cast and crew. You got to think like stage management as well. They have to have dressing rooms to get changed into like their blacks, like work gear. So certain people, it just sort of works down. So some of the leads and like maybe some of the supporting like cast as well might have in their contract to have their own dressing room, but there'll be like a paragraph saying like, if this is not possible, they might have to share.
Yeah.
Which happens. The 2 leads or maybe just the 1 lead might be the only one with their own dressing room because that's just the way the theatre is. There's not enough for everyone. They'll try to get the people with the the statement in their contract saying, I want my own dressing room, to have their own dressing room. But if it doesn't work out that way, it doesn't work out that way. There's a story in Mormon where the number 1 dressing room is like pretty big. It's got like a bath in it.
Oh my god, that's the dream.
It's like a really nice dressing room. And also, so dressing room number 1, like the biggest one, the best one, is normally like the closest to the stage as well. It's not, you know what I mean? Like the best one is normally pretty close, so you've got it really cushy.
Apart from the Haymarket.
Oh yeah. But you just like come out and like, and walk straight into the stage.
Yeah.
So dressing room number 1 in the Prince of Wales, it's got like a big bath in it and it's like really nice. The floor up is 2 and 3, which are really nice as well, but not as nice as 1. And in the original cast of Mormon, Gavin Creel had number 1 with the bath. And he said, I don't want this because I feel like I'm no bigger than Elder Cunningham. And it's true really, they sort of run it together. So Gavin went up to like 2 and the original Elder Cunningham was on 3, so they were on the same floor together. So it was really nice. So Alexi Kadim went down to number 1.
Oh my god, the dream.
And she was like, yeah! So then she just kept it for like 3 years. So Alexi like had this amazing dressing room. So yeah, it's really cool. She loved it.
It's funny when you've got long running shows because it's very rare that once the original cast has kind of like figured out what the dressing rooms are, that ever changes. So like Les Mis, for instance, backstage at the Queen's, that show had been there for like over a decade by the time I got there. And there was no way those dressing rooms were going to change for whoever was in them. Like, you know what I mean? Like Valjean obviously had his own room with a little shower in it. But Javert and Thénardier always shared, the 4 girls always shared, like Cosette, Eponine, Madame T and Fantine would always have their own dressing room. Marius and Andras always had their dressing room. But you get like big stars or like big West End stars who went into that show, but the rooms weren't changed around for them. Like if that part shares with another part, then they would have shared regardless of like whether they were the star or not, because there's only so many dressing rooms. And it's just, it gets complicated trying to change things around.
So in the first year at Mormon, I was in the swing room, and there was, honestly, this room was so small. I think it was one of the smallest dressing rooms, and there was 6 boys in there. There were 2 standby Cunninghams and 4 swings. So the worst bit about it is that if we weren't on, we'd all be in there. So it's like, it's not the same when you've got a small room and you're in the ensemble because you're always on. So you just get changed in there and go downstairs and do your show. But we're there for like 2 show days, just sat in the smallest room, like 6 boys, and we had these quite big chairs as well. And we were pestering the company manager saying, can we change? Because we were dressing room 10, and down the hall was dressing room 6, and that was bigger, much bigger, not crazy amounts bigger, but definitely bigger than our room, and it had 3 ensemble girls in there.
Oh man.
And we were like, can't we have that room? Because they're always on.
Yeah.
And that room, one person's got their own side to themselves. And we're there, 6 boys, like, you're right, yeah, can I just grab, like, no joke. And the company manager was so, like, difficult about it. They're like, yeah, I just don't know. We were like, just change it.
Yeah,
and why we were, like, arguing it as well is because I think most of us were staying that year. Or, like, a good group of that.
Yeah.
I think 4 of us, at least, were staying from dressing room 10.
Yeah.
And all the girls were leaving that year. So it wasn't like we're taking someone's dressing room, because that would be naughty to go, oh yeah, the boys want this dressing room, so pack up your stuff and move downstairs or whatever.
It would have been changed within like a cast change, where like it's not like people have moved in and gotten comfy and they're like, actually no, you need to move down the hall. It's like they would have come in and they would have been like, this is your dressing room, and they would have known no different.
Exactly. And it took ages, and eventually it changed, and we managed to do it, but it changed the year I left.
Oh.
Yeah. So I never had that dressing room, but it
annoying.
eventually changed the year I left. They were like, okay, we're going to do it.
One of the best things about the Queen's being renovated and turned into the Sondheim was that the girls' dressing room for Fantine, Cosette, Eponine and Madame T, we were in like this tiny dressing room, and like it was like that. I remember I had to sit behind the fridge, and every time it was the summer, they'd hire these big aircon units that would then go on top of the fridge. Then I'd have like the hot pipe like next to me that would go out of the window, and it was just like really cramped. And it was so small that the 2 girls, Cosette and Madame T, who have the big ball gowns, weren't able to get dressed in our dressing room. They had to go downstairs in their dressing gowns and then get dressed in the wings, which was just so unfair. It was just like so crap. So then when the Queen's got renovated, they uncovered this like corridor. So the kids' dressing room was like this small, like even smaller than ours, like tiny dressing room. But there was a door at the other end that when you open it had just like loads of, it was like storage, and I think there was some like electrical generators in there. And when they renovated it, they moved the generators somewhere else and extended that dressing room, and that then became the girls' dressing room. So we had this unreal dressing room when we went back after the concert, where it was like a long, like thin corridor all of our wardrobes were, and then it opened out where that door used to be and where the generators used to be into this beautiful dressing room where we all sat like in a line instead of like on top of each other, like in front and behind each other, and it had like an aircon unit built into like the ceiling, and it was just amazing. Like, it was the room that everyone walked into and was like, oh my God, like, couldn't believe that that was our dressing room.
Well, that's that really. Sort of contract, we sort of rushed through it a bit, to be honest, but...
There's just so much to it, and it's so complicated, or can get so complicated, and it's so dependent on so many different things that when one person's negotiating, they might have to think about these 5 things, but when someone else is negotiating, they might have to think about 10 different other things.
Yeah. It's all very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was that. Thanks for popping by. Be safe out there. Don't go outside in a thunderstorm with a metal rod. Yeah.